Good evening. Welcome back. Tonight I have pumpkin brown ale from Shakespeare Brewing Company in the lovely Shakespeare, Ontario, Canada. And I tried pumpkin beer several years ago by I think it was Blue Moon or Belgian Moon in Canada. And I think they called it Harvest Moon. And I enjoy pumpkin pie, so I really enjoyed their pumpkin spice beer. So I'm really looking forward to trying this one from Shakespeare Brewing Company. And it says it's strong, 6%. And yeah, we're going to give it a shot. Actually, more than a shot, I'm going to drink the whole thing. But first, we'll sample. It says it's brown ale. It looks brown. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Quite a label there. The old jack-o'-lantern on the Shakespearean pitcher. It looks good. It's got a nice aroma. Oh, you can taste the pumpkin in that. Wow, that's it's like pumpkin pie in your mouth. I like that. That's good. That's really good. Too bad they only brew that seasonal. But yeah, good stuff. Reminds me of a story I heard one time about Cinderella. Um, she wanted to go to the fall ball, and of course, she didn't have the means to get all dressed up fancy like, so she calls on the fairy godmother and she says, "How can I help you, Cinderella?" He says, well, I'd really like to go to the fall ball, but he says, I just got these old rags for clothes. And I have no way to get there. Fairy godmother says, "Well, I think I can help you out, and there's always conditions, but I think I can help you out." He says, "Oh, that would be wonderful. What do I have to do? How can you help me?" Fairy godmother says, "Well, go round up all the pumpkins you can find." Cinderella's like, "Oh, okay." So she goes and she brings back a whole bunch of pumpkins. And fairy godmother says, "Well, first thing we're gonna do is, you have any fancy underwear to wear?" "Oh no, I don't have any fancy underwear." He said, "I don't really have undergarments at all." He says, "Okay, well, here we go. Take some of these pumpkins, turn it into underwear for you, some fancy lingerie." She's like, "Oh my, this is wonderful." He says, "Okay, now we'll take those rags you got for clothes and we'll make that into a fancy gown for you." There we go, perfect. Because we'll take another pumpkin, make a carriage out of it, and we'll make a couple other pumpkins. We'll hitch up some horses, and says, "There you go. That'll get you to the ball. You're all dressed up." But Cinderella says, "What is the conditions, though? You said there's conditions." She said, "Oh, well, there's always conditions, right?" She said, "Uh-huh. At the strike of midnight, all these things we use for pumpkins, or for we made out of pumpkins, are going to turn back to pumpkins. So your underwear and the lingerie and your carriage and your horses. So if you're not back by midnight, you'll have no ride, and you'll look pretty silly with, your rags. Your dress will turn back to rags, and you're not going to look your best. That's for sure." "Okay, I will be back. I will be back," she says. So she goes to the ball. And what do you think the first thing she says when she gets to the ball is? Well, she kind of choked a bit. But besides that, she got to the dance and she sees Prince Charming and she thinks, "Oh, maybe try to hook up with him. He's like the prince, and I'd like to be with him. And so she's trying to get his attention, and things just don't really work out with Prince Charming. But she catches the eye of another gentleman there, and she starts dancing with him, and things are going pretty smooth. And they're dancing, and they're having a few drinks. Everything's going good. Next thing you know, it's like 11:45, and Cinderella's getting a little nervous. She's like, "Oh, I've had a great time, but I really got to get going. I got to be home by midnight." And the gentleman says, "Well," says, "you can stay. Like, we're having a good time. There's, you don't need to go home. You come back to my place." She's like, "Well, my ride's going to leave any minute." He goes, "Oh, I will give you a ride home. Don't worry about that." So she's thinking to herself, "Well, that's one thing, but what about my dress and my underwear? Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I can't. No, I got to go home. I really should go home." And the gentleman says, "Well, before you leave, at least let me give you my name so that, I can contact you later." She's like, "Oh, okay, all right, all right." He says, "My name's Peter." She says, "Peter? Well, Peter, do you have a last name?" "Yeah, they call me Peter the Pumpkin Eater." He goes, "You know what? Second thought, maybe I will go to your place tonight." Beer and a joke.